There's a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite.
Take all the credit in the world for the things that you do right.
Welcome here, you are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom
You
when
can take all the credit in the
when you
world.
follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah. When we unite. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Ocala. How's everybody doing this beautiful Sunday morning? Yay! Awesome, awesome. We have some first-time visitors. Raise your hand if you're here for the very first time. Nice. Welcome, welcome. Y'all regulars, give them a little extra love this morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being. So a little bit about what this place is, who we are here at CSL Ocala, and I hope you like that song. Isn't that a great song to say you're welcome here, no matter what walk of life you come from, that this is a place where you can come and be yourself and be welcome? It's a beautiful thing. So welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Ocala. Our mission here is to embody and share truth, principles, and spiritual practices that empower us to be our very best selves. Anybody want to be their very best self? Isn't that why we come to a place like this, right? to awaken to that power and presence that lies within and all around us so that we can facilitate spiritual healing and the elevation of our individual and collective consciousness. Right? So we all rise together. That's what we're here for. That is our mission. And our vision is that we are a thriving New Thought community dedicated to spiritual growth and practice, as well as sacred activism. The kind of activism that transforms lives. You know, it takes love and it reveals our interconnectedness and our oneness. Sacred activism is that intersection between consciousness and action, the place where prayer and service activate love and spiritual principles become lived practice. It's how we show up as our best selves. I really like that, you know, and I like that there's people here that like it too. So we are in the playmates. We can be playmates. Y'all want to be playmates this morning? All right, good, excellent. So these are the things that are important to us, our values here at CSL Ocala: wholeness of spirit, spiritual growth, and personal growth. We believe in collaboration and synergy. That means that when we come together, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, because we come together with the same purpose, the same vision and mission. And then we value abundance and prosperity. We value love and compassion. How many of you feel like compassion, the Dalai Lama said that compassion is the radicalism of our time? Anybody else feeling that? Like, it takes courage these days to be compassionate and to show it. Well, you don't have to have courage here, because that's what we're all about. Appreciation and gratitude. Gratitude is the thing that can pull you from a yucky place. Anybody experience yucky places in their lives, right? Gratitude will lift you faster than anything else. To be able to find gratitude in a difficult situation is transformative in itself. We value peace and balance. We value freedom, freedom of expression, freedom to be who you are, and be appreciated for that in all of your diversity. So diversity and inclusion are not bad words here. And we value generosity. We have a very generous community. The folks that are here that serve this place. I mean, there were folks here yesterday. Raise your hand if you were here yesterday. Playing, painting, serving together. And they were here into the evening, and they're back here again this morning, you know, to be ready for the day. So that's the kind of folks that we have here. And so, did I say who I am? I guess for our new folks. I am Cindy Grimes. I'm the inspirator of our center, and I am an ordained minister now for a few years. So really excited to be here this morning. I love the topic that we've been talking about, and I know not a lot of other people share that enthusiasm about conversations on accountability. You're not as excited still? When you understand accountability, what it really is, and the power that it has, you can get excited about it. This is about reclaiming our peace and our power through accountability. How you get to be the best version of yourself that you can be. It requires your own accountability. So on our fourth Sunday, our focus is building the beloved community. And what that means, what the beloved community is, those people who are on that spiritual path and are seeking a closer relationship with their higher power. Whatever you call that. Some people call it God, some people call it universe. Whatever you want to call it, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just that you are seeking, that you know that you're on the path, that you are intentional about it, and that you want a closer relationship. Anybody else feel that? Awesome, then you're in the right place. And people who take their spiritual awareness out into their world to exemplify love and compassion in action. It can feel like a lonely road sometimes, which is why it's important to come together in community and get that extra lift. You get a little more strength when you know that you're not alone. And so this is just a little bit of review for those of you who've not heard this term of beloved community and how we're using it. So a community of spiritual warriors. Anybody else want to own that? Yes. To be a spiritual warrior? Awesome, awesome. So these are people who are strong, clear, and compassionate because of the inner work that you're doing. Right? Now, I know when I came here, I was already doing some of my work. This place supercharged it because you're among other people that are like-minded that are also on the path and know it and are on it intentionally. So that's a beautiful thing. Their resilience empowers them to face drama and disharmony while remaining centered in their spiritual practices. Anybody else have drama in their lives? Okay, good. Also, still, you're in the right place. They have waged the inner battles to elevate themselves from fear to love and compassion. Give yourselves a pat on the back, right? For what you have been through and the fact that you keep coming back and keep showing up, right? And living in your purpose. They bring a visionary perspective to outreach efforts, focusing on what's desired rather than what's wrong or what is absent. And I call that being a solutionary. Looking for the solutions. We can all see the problems. We all know they're there. But looking for the solutions. And the possibility, like what else exists. This may be how things are right now, but it doesn't mean this is how it has to be in the future, right? And that's what we're taking responsibility for. So, I love this from a fellow minister in the Center for Spiritual Living movement named Jim Lockhart, who's written a book about the beloved community. And he says, we are called to a different way of being. The signs of the present moment are telling us that old ways of thinking and being are inadequate for the emerging future. Any of you see there's a lot of turmoil in the world? That is evidence that things are shifting. Right, that's what it is. So if that helps the fear a little bit, know that it is normal when things are shifting in a radical way that there's a lot of turmoil. We in New Thought are challenged to use our spiritual technologies more rigorously to create a consciousness of compassion, love, empowerment, and success, which is beyond what we've ever seen before. Anybody else up for that? Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, on this Sunday, I'm combining some ideas, right? This idea of the beloved community, along with the thing that we've been talking about this month, which is accountability. Practicing radical accountability. And so, accountability, for those of you who are still getting a little icky feeling in your stomach when you hear that word, it's not about blaming, shaming, or punishment, although they are often conflated. Right? We think that holding people accountable means punishing them. Anybody else been raised with that idea, that that's what it means? That's not. Punishment and accountability are different things. That's a deeper conversation that maybe you'll get a hit on that with what we do later today. But it is mostly about owning it's actually all about owning your power as a conscious creator. And then this wonderful quote, the moment you accept responsibility for everything in your life is the moment that you get the power to change the things in your life. You can't change what you're not aware of. You can't change what you're not willing to change. And that's where accountability comes into play. So as I was looking for a way to tie all of these pieces together, I went online, I was looking for some videos and things to kind of, to inspire myself. And I came across this video from Simon Sinek. Anybody else know Simon Sinek? There's a few of you that know who he is. So he's a presenter, he's a trainer, he's an author. He's done a couple of TED Talks. Can you imagine? One of his TED Talks got over 80 million views. One of his TED Talks. The other one, I think that was a little bit less, at 60 million. So it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. The other ones, they're phenomenal. But this one really tied all of the pieces together. And even though he's coming from a business kind of leadership aspect of teaching people, leaders, that's why I felt like it was important for here. There is a spiritual message in it. Doesn't come in till later in his talk. But I expect, or I think that everybody in here, I know that everybody in here is really a leader, whether you claim it or not. Because, there are people that are looking to you for leadership. Even my grandchildren, I have grandchildren that are 6 and 8 years old. And the 8-year-olds are the leader for the 6-year-old, right? So we all have people, no matter what walk of life we're in, there are people that are looking to us. And if you're serious about being on the spiritual path, you want to show up as the best version of yourself that you can be, right? So it is a leadership talk, but it is very appropriate, I think, for this group. So if you have, I don't know if you want to jot some notes, because I think it's going to trigger a lot of stuff when you hear it. What we're going to do this morning is watch his talk on accountability. It's about 15 minutes long. And then we'll have a conversation. We'll have the mics set up so we can see, talk about how his words impact you, what is the relevance to your life, and we'll all just expand the conversation and learn together. Y'all up for that? All right. This description here is from his website, and I felt like it was really so much in line with what we're about. So Sinek is described as a visionary thinker with a rare intellect. He has devoted his life, his professional life, to helping advance a vision of a world that does not yet exist. A world in which the vast majority of people wake up every single morning inspired and feel safe wherever they are, and at the end of the day, feeling fulfilled in the work that they do. Isn't that a beautiful vision? Yeah. So that's right on his website, and if you want to know more, you can go and check that out. But do we have the video queued up? Awesome. So here we go. Maybe turn the lights down.
Take accountability for your actions. You can take all the credit in the world for the things that you do as long as you also take responsibility for the things you do wrong. It must be a balanced equation. In the 18th century, there was something that spread across Europe and eventually made its way to America called puerperal
also
fever,
known as the black death of childbed.
Basically, what was happening is women were giving birth, and they would die within 48 hours after giving birth. This black death of childbirth was the ravage of Europe, and it got worse and worse and worse over the course of over a century. In some hospitals, it was as high as 70% of women who gave birth who would die as a result of giving birth. But this was the Renaissance. This was the time of empirical data and science, and we had thrown away things like tradition and mysticism. These were men of science. These were doctors. And these doctors and men of science wanted to study and try and find the reason for this black death of childbed, and so they got to work studying, and they would study the corpses of the women who had died. And in the morning they would conduct autopsies, and then in the afternoon they would go and deliver babies and finish their rounds. And it wasn't until somewhere in the mid-1800s that Dr. Oliver Wendell Holmes, father of Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, realized that all of these doctors who were conducting autopsies in the morning weren't washing their hands before they delivered babies in the afternoon. And he pointed it out and said, "Guys, you're the problem." And they ignored him and called him crazy for 30 years, until finally somebody realized that if they simply washed their hands, it would go away. And that's exactly what happened. When they started sterilizing their instruments and washing their hands, the black death of childbed disappeared. My point is, the lesson here is, sometimes you're the problem. Take accountability for your actions. You can take all the credit in the world for the things that you do right, as long as you also take responsibility for the things you do wrong. It must be a balanced equation. You don't get it one way and not the other. You get to take credit when you also take accountability. Nelson Mandela is a particularly special case study in the leadership world because he is universally regarded as a great leader. He was actually the son of a tribal chief, and he was asked one day, "How did you learn to be a great leader?" And he responded that he would go with his father to tribal meetings, And he remembers two things when his father would meet with other elders. One, they would always sit in a circle. And two, his father was always the last to speak. You will be told your whole life that you need to learn to listen. I would say that you need to learn to be the last to speak. I see it in boardrooms every day of the week. Even people who consider themselves good leaders, who may actually be decent leaders, will walk into a room and say, here's the problem, here's what I think, but I'm interested in your opinion, let's go around the room. It's too late. The skill to hold your opinions to yourself until everyone has spoken does two things. One, it gives everybody else the feeling that they have been heard. It gives everyone else the ability to feel that they have contributed. And two, you get the benefit of hearing what everybody else has to think before you render your opinion. The skill is really to keep your opinions to yourself. If you agree with somebody, don't nod yes. If you disagree with somebody, don't nod no. Simply sit there, take it all in, and the only thing you're allowed to do is ask questions so that you can understand what they mean and why they have the opinion that they have. You must understand from where they are speaking, why they have the opinion they have, not just what they are saying. And at the end, you will get your turn. It sounds easy, it's not. So a friend of mine and I, we went for a run in Central Park. The Roadrunners organization, on the weekends, they host races. And it's very common at the end of the race, they'll have a sponsor who will give away something, apples or bagels or something. And on this particular day, when we got to the end of the run, there were some free bagels. And they had picnic tables set up, and on one side was a group of volunteers. On the table were boxes of bagels, and on the other side was a long line of runners waiting to get their free bagel. So I said to my friend, let's get a bagel. And he looked at me and said, that line's too long. And I said, free bagel. And he said, I don't want to wait in line. And I was like, free bagel. And he says, nah, it's too long. And that's when I realized that there's two ways to see the world. Some people see the thing that they want, and some people see the thing that prevents them from getting the thing that they want. I could only see the bagels. He could only see the line.
All the great leaders, everybody from Martin Luther King to Steve Jobs, every single one of them, those with the capacity to inspire, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to the rest of us. Where the rest of us start with what we do, these great leaders, those with the capacity to inspire and lead great change, all of them always start with why they do what they do. Every single organization on the planet, even our own careers, always function on three levels: what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. What we do are the products we make, the services we offer, the things we sell. How we do it are those, whether you call it your unique selling proposition or your proprietary process or whatever you want to call it. It's the things that you think make you different or special or stand out from the crowd. But it's this concept of why we do what we do, this purpose, cause, or belief that drives every one of us, why the company exists in the first place. We don't need another one of whatever you're selling. There's plenty. But why do we need you? And it's not because of how you do it differently or what you do. There's something deeper there. It was the very reason why the company was formed. When organizations start with why, the response they will get from people who believe what they believe will be visceral. It will be deeply personal and in the emotional part of the brain. It will be hard for people to explain why they are so drawn to Southwest Airlines or Harley Davidson or Apple. They'll talk about, it's the design, it's the quality, it's the service. But in the reality, it's deeper than that. It's in the part of the brain that controls behavior, but not language. The best they can sum up is, I don't know, I just love it. But the reality is, it actually is one of the things that helps them define who they are. Apple is able to inspire loyalty amongst customers and employees, and shareholders for that matter, because the way they view themselves is different than the way most other computer companies view themselves. Most other computer companies define themselves by what they do. They make computers, and everything they try to do is in an effort to improve upon that thing. Add more RAM, add more speed, make it blue. Apple defines themselves by why they exist, to challenge the status quo. Power to the individual, think different. And everything they say and everything they do is to advance that idea.
So in the mid-1980s, a theologian named James Carsey wrote this little book called Finite and Infinite Games, in which he defines these two kinds of games. Finite games, which have known players, fixed rules, and agreed upon objectives. There's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. The objective is to win the game. And then there's infinite games. Infinite games are defined as known and unknown players. You don't necessarily know who all the other players are. The rules are changeable. You can play however you want. And the objective is to perpetuate the game, to stay in the game as long as possible. We are players in multiple infinite games every day of our lives. There's no such thing as being the winner in your marriage. There's no such thing as winning global politics. And there's definitely no such thing as winning business.
Finite mindset is everything is about this transaction, this listing. An infinite mindset is, I may win or lose this game, I may win or lose this transaction, and there'll be another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And the goal is not to win this one. The goal is to be better and better and better and better.
Let me give you a real life example that sheds some light on what I'm talking about. I spoke at an education summit at Microsoft. I also spoke at an education summit at Apple. At the Microsoft Summit, the vast majority of the executives spent the vast majority of their presentations talking about how to beat Apple. At the Apple Summit, 100% of the executives spent 100% of their presentations talking about how to help teachers teach and how to help students learn. One was obsessed with where they were going, the other one was obsessed with their competition. At the end of my talk at Microsoft, they gave me a gift. They gave me the new Zune when it was a thing. This was Microsoft's response to the iPod. And this little piece of technology was absolutely incredible. It was beautifully designed. The user interface was intuitive and very simple to use. It was really brilliant, I have to say. So at the end of my Apple talk, I was sharing a taxi with a very senior Apple executive, and I decided to stir the pot. I couldn't help myself. I turned to him and I said, you know, Microsoft gave me their new Zune, and it is so much better than your iPod Touch. To which he said, I have no doubt. And the conversation was over. Because the infinite player understands, sometimes your competitor has the better product, and sometimes you have the better product. And sometimes you're ahead, and sometimes you're behind. But there's no such thing as best or first or beating your competition. There's only ahead and behind. And the reality of an infinite game is you're actually only competing against yourself. That the objective every single day is how do we become a better version of our own institution this year than we were last year? How do we improve the quality of our culture? How do we improve the quality of the way we provide the service that we claim to be providing? How do we improve ourselves? That is the main point of being an infinite game, because at the end of the day, we don't have the same metrics as everybody else, and we're not even necessarily playing to the same ends.
We've all had the experience where one of our colleagues got a promotion and we got upset, we got angry. We got angry at somebody else's success. Think about that for a second. Why couldn't we share in the joy, right? What is it about them that's being revealed in us? That's the problem. Comparison is the deadliest thing we can do to ourselves, because we will always come up short. All it does is exaggerate all of our insecurities. It's fun and exciting to try and beat our competitors, but to have to face our own weaknesses every day, that's exhausting.
It's much easier to direct all of that discomfort and anxiety we have about competitions and our weaknesses at others. But the problem is if we become so obsessed at winning, sometimes we do things that are quite unethical.
It's like being a runner in a race. When we're obsessed with winning in a race, we may trip the other runner. We may trip the other competitor. And yes, we will win the race, but we're still a slow runner. And the problem is in this infinite game, there's another race and another race and another race, and it never ends.
When we have competitors in business, we adopt this mindset of needing to win or needing to beat them. The problem is this is not a finite game. There's no such thing as winning. A worthy rival is another player in the game that is worthy of comparison, that in some way, shape, or form reveals to you weaknesses that you have that are opportunities for you to work to improve yourself. You get to pick your own worthy rivals. You can have many of them. They can be entire companies, they can be individuals, they don't even have to be in your industry. But there are people that you respect. You don't have to like them, but you respect that they are better at things than you are, and it shows you where your opportunities to improve are. And remember, in the infinite game, the only true competitor is yourself. And if the game of an infinite mindset, if playing with an infinite mindset is a game of constant improvement, what better way to discover your weaknesses than from those who are better than us at so many things?
To be organized for the infinite game, it takes courage because we're going to be swimming upstream in a world that is very finite driven.
And it is incredibly difficult to have the courage to stand up to all of the pressures in our lives that are telling us to stay finite, to advance ourselves beyond others, to make as much money this year as possible, to be the best, to be number one in all these artificial rankings with arbitrary ratings and arbitrary time frames.
You know, the pressures on us are overwhelming from Wall Street or our own egos or from internal incentive structures or our bosses, whatever it is. The pressures are overwhelming for us to play the finite game. And so how do you stand up to massive external pressure? Courage. And courage is something that comes from relationships. You know, it's external.
The absolute confidence that someone will be there for you in a time of need is what gives us courage to be there for other people when they need it.
There are days we're going to doubt ourselves. There are days we're going to get knocked in our ass. There are days that storms are going to rise, and we have to have people who say, I got your back. You need to do this. We need you. The world needs this. Keep going.
Which all raises the very interesting question, what does it mean to live an infinite life? Clearly our lives are finite, but life is infinite, and we are simply the players in this infinite game. And in every other infinite game, though we don't get to choose the rules of the game, we do get to choose if we want to play, and we do get to choose how we want to play it. In the game of life, however, we don't get to choose if we want to play. Once you're born, you're a player. The only choice we get is how we want to play. We can choose to live our lives with a finite mindset, to advance our own careers at the expense of others, to try and outdo all of our friends, make more money than everybody else we know, and accumulate as much power as possible, and when we die, we leave it all behind. Or we can choose to live with an infinite mindset, which is to commit ourselves to see that those around us rise, to see that those around us have experiences that they cannot get anywhere else.
And isn't that sort of the point of an infinite life? To leave this world in better shape than we found it, to leave the companies that we work for in better shape than when we started, to leave our families stronger and better capable than they can do without us. You know, isn't that what it means to live an infinite life? That we can literally live on beyond our own lives.
Didn't know this stuff when we started doing Circle here, but we do Circle for that purpose, right? So that we can expand our understanding of whatever it is, the topic that we're talking about. And I hear people say it every week, or every time we do Circle, they learn as much from the other folks in the Circle than what they share themselves, right? So we all become teachers at the same time that we're learning. So thanks for that.
Hi, my name's Snook. And I loved how it was explaining, having the courage to acknowledge that somebody may do something better than you, that's more skillful. And with that acknowledgement comes this openness, this ability to remain teachable, right? Because if I pretend or don't acknowledge that other people are doing things better than me, I can't learn. I can't grow, I can't become wiser. I really shut that down instead of remaining open to let that in and get better.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I'm not a competitive person at all. I could care less what anybody else is doing. I compete with myself. I always want to be. But from what he said, I really see the value of competition. because it shows you where you can grow, just like you said. So I have, because of this talk, a new appreciation, actually, ironically, for competition that I didn't have before. So thank you. Challenger. There you go. There you go. That was it. And we talked about that this month, didn't we? So I'm glad you saw that, and thank you for reminding me. Because for those of you who weren't here, earlier in the month, we talked about a model of accountability and how we go from, remember the dreaded drama triangle? You can go from that triangle, and for those who didn't hear it, the dreaded trauma triangle has a victim, has a persecutor, and a savior. And we go round and round and round. And sometimes we're the victim, and sometimes we're the persecutor, and sometimes we're the savior. And we have our favorite roles. But the way to break out of that, because again, there's no win in that. There's no win in any of that. To break out, the first step is to go from being a victim to a conscious creator. And then it's looking at the people and the things that feel like a persecutor to you as challengers, like a competitor that you value. And then looking, instead of for saviors, looking for mentors, coaches, teachers, or viewing people as such. You're not necessarily looking for them, they show up, but you see them in a different light. You're not looking to them to save you, you're looking for them to coach you into the next level. So thank you for that reminder. Yes, Casey.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I every week I come here, I'm so happy. I never thought I'd be learning so much. I think I never knew knowledge was all about what you're talking about now. I always thought education was about academia. But this knowledge that you're sharing with us is so transformative and healing. What got today, he said so much. I'm so glad we're recording this, so I'm going to go back. But what I love is something I've been reflecting on myself, the difference between self-assessment and self-judgment. Earlier you talked about blaming shame. I think when I judged, I opened the door to blame and shame, right and wrong. But when I assess objectively, I'm able to hold it up into the light of day. And we have what we call in recovery good guilt. We see, oh, look, I did that wrong. I fell short of what I wanted. And that's not a bad thing. I'm referencing something. It's an objective way of knowing and learning. And what I heard today, what he was talking about, and I think I heard this in scripture too, which helped me once before, but even now, and that was the thing about looking at the splinter in your brother's eye and not at the plank in your own.
Right.
I think we always have a shade of that. It never changes, even though with knowledge I've come to see the knowledge we have here is that we travel within. That's what's transformative and transcending to me. So I find that I still have that shade of my lower energy and thought with me. It just isn't as large and intense because I'm dealing within the now. It's not. I'm not residing in the past or the future.
Yeah.
And that's what you bring home to me each time you talk. I'm so
Awesome.
happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's so much progress, isn't it? Right? To be able to reframe the things that we were taught as children. When I say like the cement was wet, when these impressions were made. So it's not surprising that we go back to that. The thing is on the path that you catch it. So you don't stay in that downward spiral of shame and feeling guilt. And instead, like you said, look at it as this is just telling me where I am. This is just telling me where I am at this moment, so I have a better idea of where I want, how to get where I want to go next. The idea, what is it, I don't know if it's the shuttle, one of those things that's circling the Earth all the time, right? The satellite, well, that they're off course, some crazy number like 90% of the time, but there is always the course correction that brings it back, into proper orbit. So if you think of yourself the same way, when you fall off, all you need is a course correction. We don't need to punish ourselves. We don't need to shame ourselves. Just course correct. And the quicker you do it, the better. Right? The easier it is. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, Marcia.
Yes, this
And say your names.
Marcia.
Especially if I don't know them.
Can you hear me? I'm Marcia. Yes, this brought up a lot of thoughts. Game, the word game. I don't like games. I don't like competition, but I'm an only child and kind of socially challenged growing up. And but this is a different framework. It's very helpful. The infinite game, definitely. And it's not about winning and losing. It's about becoming a better person. And that's why we're here, I believe. We're here to have relationships and work on all this stuff. And we're doing it. We're jumping in and doing it. So I'm going to take it out of competition. The competition thing, I need to think about more. But I do know that if I think I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
That's great. I had not heard this distinction of the infinite game and the finite game, although I understand it and have understood it for years. As a hospice social worker, you see people who are at the end of their lives, who've been like on that finite game of, I gotta win, it's about the house and the money and the car and the fancy this and that. And then they get to the end of their lives and like, what's it about? Where's the depth? The people that they thought were gonna be there aren't there for them. They're by themselves because they forgot the other pieces, about the need for community and connection, right? So important. So it is a tremendous experience. 100%. Now, I like to use the mic because we're recording so people can hear what you're saying. But what Marcia said was that working for hospice or being affiliated with hospice is such a tremendous learning experience. And I had the blessing of doing it as a really young woman in my early 20s. To see people at the end of their lives and see their regrets and their pain. But then there were also people who did it really well. People who checked out and it was like, they checked all their boxes and they were at peace when they came to the end. And I have stayed with that my whole life. I know the infinite game. That's what I live. I just didn't have words for it. I didn't have words. So this is a whole new context. There's a book. Cynic, by the way, you don't have to rewatch this, or you can, but it's online. You can go on YouTube and find this video yourselves. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Alex. I found that the radical accountability.
Is it on? He's coming through the mic?
You can hear that?
Yes, I hear you now. Great, thank you.
Yeah, I think the radical accountability you talked about at the beginning, from whether it's a blessing or whether it's the counter opposite of that, is so important for me in my life because it really is a lesson or a blessing. And a lot of times, like we talked about last week, I get into that victim mentality because it's like, why is this happening to me? But it's happening for me to show me those parts of myself that I still need to work on. And I think throughout that whole thing, it's where the inner work starts to really begin in my life. And thank God for good teachers in my life and people I can bounce ideas off of too, because as my friend says, I can't see the apple on my own head. So.
Thank you. Yeah, you hit on the thing right there, that life happening to me. When you shift from life is happening to me to life is happening for me, everything shifts. That's the biggest game changer there is, right? Is to reframe the things that are happening in your life. Yeah.
So for me, I found that shifting from the to me to for me is awesome in my mind. The problem that I encountered was knowing what was for me and what was not for me. And that piece there was that inner work, like he's saying. It was really a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of stumbling, along the way to understand me and not what somebody else's idea of me is, because that was where the conditioning was before.
Sure.
Somebody else's idea of me and how I was trained to think and grow up and be. And now I'm an adult trying to figure out who the heck I am, who am me. So then coming from that space of, is this for me? And for, having the values oh my gosh, out there playing. And then everything gets measured up to those values. And that's how I'm able to tell what is for me and what's not for me. And it was that piece that was hard to figure out at first, but those list of values really helped. And then I just ask myself each time, you know, is this for me? And muscle testing, I mean, I reach for every tool in the arsenal, man. You know, every decision, every single time, because it's a journey. And then you're stopping and smelling the roses along the way, you know, and sometimes there's poop.
Because it fertilizes the roses, right? our BS fertilizes our belief systems, right? What sometimes gets us in trouble. Yeah. And that, what you talked about, Donna, was that how people get into that savior mode. You know, so many of us are codependent helpers. If you're sitting in the room, you have a heart. You know, you want to make things better for other people. Sometimes it's hard to know where to draw that line. What is mine and what is yours? Because if we're constantly up in somebody else's business or trying to save everybody else, we have hurt ourselves. And it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And that's our own accountability. And we've hurt them, exactly right. We hurt them too by dismissing who or downplaying who they are. So we want to look at everybody as creators, including those who are wanting to make us their saviors. Yeah.
So I call it the highway syndrome. You know, no matter how fast you go on I-75, there's always somebody in front of you. And no matter how slow you go, there's always somebody behind you. What we're having now is a human experience, which is just a snapshot in time. And in this effort to live in the physical world, we tend to put certain values on things. It's up, it's down, it's in, it's out. It's over, it's under. And this helps us while we're in the physical world, but it hinders our perception of the infinite.
Mm-hmm. All right, say more about that.
That measuring.
Yes.
That we need here, living a physical life. But again, this physical life, in the grand scheme of things, is just a very small snapshot in time. And what he's touching into is the infinite, right? The eternal part of ourselves. Mm-hmm. Again, living in the physical world, we have boundaries by the nature of being here, right? Inhibited in the physical body right now. It's a blessing in some ways because it gives us the opportunity to learn through the physical world, which has more material things that we can understand concepts through. For instance, when you're trying to teach a child the concept of addition, you don't just try to explain it. You hold up an apple in one hand and an apple in the other, and they understand there's two. And then when you put one behind your back, now you have the concept of subtraction because now there's only one apple, right? So in this physical world, when we measure, when we need that to understand more about the infinite, and that we're contained right now in this amazing experience that we call the earth life, we tend to use words, we tend to use ideas that we begin to embrace as realities, and they're not realities. Mm-hmm. Inside, outside, upside, downside, over, under. This is not the flow of eternity.
It's a paradox, right? It's paradoxical. And the measuring what you're saying, the inside, outside, it's all relative, right? Because we're all in different places. So that's, I think, part of appreciating community and having other people around you, right? Is to see, oh, this isn't just the way it is. This may be the way it is for me, but this isn't the way it is at this moment. Right. This may be what it is for me at this moment, but that doesn't mean that this is how it is. Right. Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, I'm Cindy. Is it on?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was watching, one of the things that came up, several things came up. One of the things when he's talking about Apple and the competitors, right?
Microsoft.
Yeah, and just accepting, like, oh, yeah, I'm sure it's better. Just that acceptance. So I've been listening to Michael Singer a lot this week, and yoga and all that, and it's the idea of surrender. And that you have to accept things the way they are. Because when we talk about accountability, one of the things that come up for me that make me uncomfortable is because I take too much accountability. I want to take control of everything, and it's not for me. And that's the hard part, knowing what's yours and what's not, and letting go and accepting things the way they are. And that.
Isn't that the serenity prayer? Right?
And I need to.
Yeah. Can someone say it? What's this? Say the serenity prayer, someone from you. Right. Say it, put it on the mic.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a story going on in my head, and it's not going away, so I'm just going to say it. But with competition, really, really resonated with me. And I play D1 soccer and talk about competition. There's a lot I need to go back with that, actually. Like I was a goalie, and there was another goalie, and there was a number 1 goalie, and I was actually number 4 goalie. And I just accepted that. Like, I was coming from Vermont going to Texas, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna learn. Like, I'm gonna learn. I was a walk-on. I'm gonna learn. And the first goalie and I became best friends. And it was a relationship that confused a lot of people because I was number 4, I was number 1. It was so like divided. But I learned so much from her that I ended up moving up the ranks to eventually where she ended up like going and playing in France or something. And who was there? I was there on the team. And it's an example of a relationship that in college was just like everybody going into the attitude of every single person I meet can teach me. Whether they are what I consider up here or here, the levels don't matter because there's always something to be learned. And that relationship changed the foundation moving forward to be in a group of people who have so much to offer and seeing it as learning from one another, because she also learned a lot from me. She learned how to be like not at the top. And so it's just, that has transformed my relationships moving forward, and the idea of just learning from everybody, where they are, wherever. So
I
thanks
love
for letting
that.
me share that.
Thank you, thank you. My daughter does a strongman competition. Strongman, like lifting cars and craziness. She's a beast. But she was not good at it. I don't know that she's great at it now, but she loves it. She loves it, and she competed in regionals yesterday, and she might be going to nationals. But she didn't give up when she was in that moment of, oh, this doesn't look good, and she, she's like last, but she kept doing it for the pure love of doing it, and she moved up just like you did, Amanda. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina with K. What he touched on with we're really in the infinite life, we're in competition with ourselves because we're trying to better who we are every day, and and how to do that. There's so many ways to do that, but touching on what Donna was talking about, how do we go from how do we know what's for us, and with life happening, not looking at it happening to us. There's a quote that when I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And I started asking, what am I learning from this? That changed everything. So it's kind of like that bridge to how to find out if it's for us, because when you're constantly learning and looking for learning opportunities, no matter where they're coming from, and you change that language in your head to, oh, this again, why, to wait, what am I learning from this? Why is it happening? It's happening for me to learn. And what is it that I'm learning? And that brings you to the, what am I here to do? It's all part of that. So and
Keeps you on purpose.
Yes, definitely.
Keeps you on purpose.
I also just have to really say really quick that I think it's really, really cool and ironic that the infinite, the body versus, the spiritual being thing, that in order to be present and really appreciate things, you have to be in that physical body. So we can't, as much as we are spiritual beings having a spiritual existence, we can't stay in that realm all the time, because being present in this physical world and feeling our physical bodies and noticing our senses, that's what grounds us to learn and be in the now. So it really just brings it full circle.
There's the paradox again, right?
Yeah, right.
Like you can, to really live your infinite life, you have to acknowledge the finite reality of this existence in this body at this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Thank you for that. I think we'll do one more, Donna, and then we'll wrap this up. Unless anybody else, who else? Oh yes, go ahead, Ann. Sorry.
I actually had some thoughts about competition as well. I don't know if anybody's seen the show American Ninja Warrior. I've been watching that show off and on for years, and what's occurred to me, it is a competition, but watching all these players over the years, it's a competition with themselves to do better each time. And even if they fall short, it's like, you know what, I put forth my best effort and maybe made a mistake, maybe I just wasn't as strong as the last time, but with all the other competitors, they're not only coaches for each other. I mean, they're always supporting each other and cheering each other on, but they're also reflections, because they've all gone through challenges, and I know, so when those competitors, they can see that in each other. So they can also see, if they happen to be better than another competitor, well, they can see where they started.
Yeah.
If they see somebody who's better than they are currently, that's a possibility. I can be there too. And it's not against each other. It's just, it's completely internal, with the competition just being a way to support each other and challenge each other to be the best that they can be.
Thank you. It speaks to his comments about community at the end of the talk. He spoke about how important it is to have your people who are going to call you out on your stuff, or people not to compare yourself, but to say, hey, this is, I like some of that, or I don't like that too much. I don't need to put my hand on the hot stove. If I've already seen you do it, it's all right. I don't need to touch it. I already know what that's going to do, right? But that's what happens for us in communities, that we get to learn from each other and we get to hold each other up. That's why places like this, I think, are so important. So we had Nikki and Donna. Then we'll wrap up. Well, because you know what, you're gonna do the next part.
Yes.
So let's give it to.
Hi, my name's Nikki. The part that really stuck out to me, that has always made sense to me since I was little, that everybody would complain about, because I always asked why. Yeah, so he says, let's focus on the why. And then instead of seeing what's blocking, figure out, to me, the message I got, I don't think he did, but was how, like when you mentioned the bagels, and I just want a free bagel. Well, how am I going to get the bagel? I'm going to wait in that long line. If that's what I have to do and that's a little bit uncomfortable, I'm going to get what's going to make me happy. So if we figure out the why, then we're not so worried about what other people are doing around us. And then if we do see what other people are doing around us, well, how are they doing it? And how does that fit with my why?
Awesome. I think that's the 80 million people talk on YouTube, is the one about why, about the why, right? And that knowing how important your why, your personal why. So many people are just blundering through life with not a clue of why they're here, or even really knowing what's important to them, because they're so caught up in the world and what's important in the world. You know, and then you end up like that person, you know the story, the person who's climbing the ladder, constantly climbing the ladder. Imagine how painful it is to get to the top of the ladder and realize that it was leaning against the wrong wall, right? This wasn't yours. This wasn't yours to do. That's why I do this stuff, because it's really painful to see somebody, or to, I imagine, to be the one at the end of your life realizing, shit, you know, like I wasted this amazing. No, don't be that person. Well, I just want to do our affirmation, and then I'm handing it off to Don. Next part. So I'm going to invite you to say this. I'll say it once, and then you say it with me. I embrace accountability, and with it, the freedom to choose, respond, and facilitate change. Now all together. I embrace accountability, and with it, the freedom to choose, respond, and facilitate change. And so it is.
So it
is. All right.
Thank you so much to our
you.
Inspirited and one of my closest mentors. Thank you guys so much for showing up and hearing these words today. The comment that I had was that paradoxical thing. We always think, oh, it's paradoxical. I think it's necessary. You need the three legs of the stool. It's the mind, body, spirit thing, the up, the middle, the down, that kind of deal. So I feel like it's the same when you're learning these things, is that, well, there's the individual work, there's the collective work, and then there's all the possibility, which is the infinite. And I feel that we are recognizing that now because of talks like this, because of people like that, because of content going out that is awakening you to a different way of thinking. And because of places like here, that you get to come together and amp up your energy together. You know? I remember that one video you showed about the lone nut that's dancing.
Yeah.
A lot of times I feel like a lone nut, because I'm always the one that goes out there and dances. Do you feel that? Oh, how many dancers are here? You know, when the dance floor is empty and nobody else is doing anything at all, and you walk into the room and you can tell they all want to stand up to that mic and sing karaoke, but they're just so shy. And the first lone nut that gets up and says, I don't care how scared I am, I will stand here and you will look at me as a person willing to stand here. And guess what? We all came to this space. We could have gone somewhere else, and here you are. And now the givingness of this community shows up. Why do we give? I can tell you why I do it. Because I don't want to step on the hose of my receiving. I learned this lesson a long time ago. I was just standing on that hose complaining, just mad at the universe. How come you ain't giving me? And I wasn't giving. So I started giving that which I wanted. That's how it works. It's circulation. Fluid in, fluid out. I'm a nurse. I always bring it back to that. We are normalizing these things. So we're celebrating our abundance and also giving thanks for those who have given in the past, so we may sit in this room so that we may have a wonderful inspirator up here. Together we paid her for this job. Thank goodness you're still here, because sometimes we fall short, y'all. It's the truth, we do. And a lot of the community doesn't know this, except for those on the council who are looking at the numbers coming in. So my invitation to you is to just amp up your givingness, because this place exists because of it. We're able to pay those who can come up here and bring us these things. You know, the alchemists in our world that stand in one space reaches into the nether regions and pulls it to us so we may have the medicine. The musicians who travel spend the gas, the time, the energy on their forms. We give so that this place continues to thrive. So thank you to those who showed up yesterday for propagation party. FYI, learn the plants. They are talking to you always. So take home a little buddy with you today. It's a great cause. And so we celebrate our abundance. It is the nature of life to give of itself, as it is the tree's nature to bear fruits and the flower's nature to bloom. It is my nature to share the gifts of my time, talent, and treasure. I participate in the divine flow of life, giving generously and receiving abundantly. I am blessed and I am a blessing. I am grateful. And so it is. And I invite you to just put your hand over your heart. If the basket is going by you and you have nothing in the form of visceral givingness today, that's okay. Wave your hand over that basket. Put a bit of blessing up in there because there's prayers in there. The people who have put their givingness in there today, we're seeing that multiplying for them today. Those who give on a regular basis, online, auto give. Y'all know how you're doing it. The stars coming in from the Facebook people, the people on YouTube, all of y'all who give so that this space may continue to give to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you are somebody that likes to do this the text way, that number 352-320-5110 is so easy. You set that up one time and then boom, yeah, you just send the amount and each time it just goes. I like doing that way because then I just tithe in real time. I don't have to worry about it. The minute my good comes in, I activate the spiritual, teaching and tool that I use a lot, which is tithing. It's 10% of all of my goods. So I try to do the 10% right away because I will forget. And again, I don't want to stand on my hose, so that's why I do it that way. Booyah! Rock on. Thank you so very much. Again, we're here together, man. This is a symbiotic movement. This is the collective part, right? The collective together, and I just really appreciate love each and every one of you and the time and effort it takes to do all of these things. So I invite you now to just go within for a moment. And I love to do this, is centering back into my body and just feel my heartbeat. That thing that is happening always in the background. I like to allow myself to come back to it and remember that I am here, housed. It is grace. Oh my goodness, feeling that heartbeat. I recognize the allness that is always around me, ebbing in and flowing and around all things. And that I am also a part of that which is nature. I'm a part of it. I'm a part of this planet, a part of this universe, a part of the substance that is life as my heart is beating under my fingers. And I know that the same is true for every person that is here. And that which is life, that is circulation, that is abundance, that is prosperity, that is always giving to us via grace. I am so grateful for that, which is my good, the good of every person that is here. Grateful for the next heartbeat, the next breath, the next inch of hair on my head, the next cell, the next blood vessel, all of it. I am grateful for life itself, coursing, beating. And as I step forward with every decision, putting my good into the world, everything that I do, the way I pay my bills, the gifts I give to my family, the smile I give a stranger, I know that I'm a part of that circulation. And I am grateful for myself as I make these wonderful decisions. And life is moving and having its being through me, as me. I'm grateful to be a part of it. I release it now knowing that it's already in infinite light. So it is, Ashe. Thank you. So what is going on, y'all? We have the Science of Mind magazine. I like to open up that magazine and look at the date and do that reading and the affirmation, all that stuff. If you're somebody that likes to do stuff online, there's a digital way to do this. You don't have to buy the physical magazine. There's a way to also get the magazine. Then when you're done with it, give it to someone else. It's now in the bookstore. So if you want a physical copy, some people like having a physical copy, have more than one, give it to a friend. because it's helpful. Sometimes you're in that space. And sometimes the only time I ever open that thing is once every 6 months, but it's boom, yeah, Spirit speaks to me in that moment. But at least it's right there for me. The same thing with the monthly newsletter. When it comes out, it's like the thing that says, booyah, here you are. And Reverend Cindy speaks to us through that newsletter. Booyah, right? Such a great word. I love it. See, now I'm going to be doing this all week, and I'm going to wonder where it came from, and your face is going to pop in my mind. So I invite you to sign up for that newsletter. If you're not already getting that newsletter, please let someone in the admin team know. Erin is over there as holding that for us. Thank you so much, Erin. She's our team lead for admin. We need to make sure everybody's getting those things, that all the food that y'all need. I don't know what's happening, but I think Norma had something to say. That would be fun. How many people here would love to come for a karaoke night? Rock on, all right? Awesome. Yeah, that's, you too? Fantastic. She loves karaoke, y'all. Kids love it. And it's wonderful to be able to go to sober events and have fun like that, right? Really regulate that nervous system using singing. Expand your reality, expand your life. Introducing the Radiance Hub. Sunday, August 31st at 11. We're going to be talking about the Radiance Hub, y'all. How many people are curious about what that is?
So I'll say a little, let me say a little bit about it. We're going to be focusing next week on a tool called Heart Math. That is for how to self-regulate, how to bring yourself into coherence so that you can, again, show up as your best self in the world. So it'll be interactive. It's going to be fun. So come and join us.
I got to experience Heart Math. It was definitely interesting. And it's not as easy as it looks, y'all. I mean, I was like, whoa, I got to bring myself back a lot. So now I'm like, I'm definitely going to have to do that more and more. Paint a rock, paint a smile. How many people were here for propagation party? There are plants out there ready to go home with you. You can listen and hear them going, take me home. You're going to love me and you're going to learn my language. And they're so forgiving because I have killed many a plant before and they've come back with lots of forgiveness. So it's great. And if plants are not your thing, then painting a rock, y'all. Doing that and just leaving it somewhere because somebody's going to smile. And there's a garden. Y'all, there's a kindness rock garden. Take a rock with you. Because you know what I know? If nobody else likes rock, children, they love rocks and they will find it. And when they do, it will bring a smile to their face. So put it maybe somewhere in a park, somewhere that they may come. Make sure it's somewhere safe, of course, that children. So come on in for that. It is a part of our Green Guardians. They are the ones in charge of these wonderful fundraisers and volunteering if you are somebody that needs to put your hands in the soil. Now, one of the things that I've found that was very healthy for me as a nurse, grounding. If you're somebody, I'm a Virgo, it turns out I need to ground more. So putting your hands in dirt actually helps with that. And you can always wash your hands for those who are very sensitive to that, or wear gloves. But putting your hands and your feet on the planet and grounding down actually is very helpful and very healthy. So you want to come in and volunteer for that. Even if it's something small, sometimes you're just walking around handing out water. That is good too. We need people who are willing to do that as well. Yes, yes. And also, we are teaching these skills to our little guys because they also need to learn how to regulate and ground their body, correct? And using that tool. So that is why we have our mini Green Guardians, so they can learn about our planet and everything around them, because everything is a lesson and everything is a joy. So you want to bring them in too. Wish upon a wing. If you look around, butterflies everywhere. Butterflies are all over. Please, on that table, it's another part of that fundraiser. We want to get this butterfly garden. We want to get it up. We want to get it going. And every single thing that we can do can help. Currently, we're at $119. We want to see that temperature. We're higher.
Tiffany.
Since yesterday's fundraiser, dude.
3 something with every little
Oh, she's taking notes.
closer to
Well, we're
It's gotta
definitely
be around
higher than the 119. So thank you so much for those who lend their energy to that. And there's still opportunities to go ahead and do that as well. The Butterfly Garden donation request. If you are someone that has any of these items, take a look, maybe take a little We are in Florida. Lots of people have beautiful things in their yard. They would love to bring them to our garden to share with our community. Take a photo, and then we're going to talk to our Green Guardian. Tiffany is holding that. Green Guardians. So that way, if they have any of these items, they can get with you. Yes. Volunteer opportunities. So as you can see, we are a collaborative unit here. We are a synergistic unit. We try to move together as a unit and do things together and get the information and feedback from everyone. So these volunteer opportunities are important because guess what? You have something inside of you to be shared with us, and it would be so great to hang out with you and get to know you and do stuff with you. And so we are encouraging you to scan the QR code and step into volunteerism. We also have a meeting for our core volunteers this after we gather today. So please, please, if you are available for giving of your energy center, which is your physical energy, by coming here and making sure this train is going for everyone else, then please come see us at that core meeting. We are in need of huggers, all kinds of stuff. All right. So how many children are in the room, or at least in the building?
Inner children. We all have inner children. Oh, there's one.
It's now Kareem's turn to dance. We got to give her her opportunity. She's been very quiet.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
You know, this keeps me healthy.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, shine, every day. Shine, shine, you know you want to. Shine, shine, all around the world. Shine, shine.
All right, y'all. The way it works here, we acknowledge our littles because sometimes they are told to be quiet, sit down, disappear. So it's nice to give them the opportunity to be seen and heard and to dance in their favorite red dress. So here we are. Yes, it's fabulous. Did you see the spin? It's fabulous. All right.
It
so
really is.
A
It really
raising
is.
twirl. So we're gonna
Sparkle and twirl. All right.
They're gonna do it to us. We're gonna do it to them. Ready? Two in the library, y'all.
We honor you. We see your light. May it shine on all that you do. And so it is. Oh.
Oh, and don't forget, there's still a little one inside there. So we're gonna rub it, rub it, rub it. Go into your heart. I honor you. I see our light. May it shine on all that we do. My little bitty inside never went anywhere, so it is my job now as her adult to take care of her. And I invite you to do the same, and that's why we show up together and do these things. Oh, think I need to? See. I know you want this one. See? Because she knows this one's the one that's live, so that's why she wants this one. She is a budding entertainer, and it's okay. She's got the message, honey. Thank you. There are some snacks in the back. Thank you so much to our events people.
Yes,
Pammy is
especially
over there, and Tiffany.
Tiffany, who baked a bunch of cookies.
Oh my goodness.
They're
And you know,
fabulous.
there are those people who just love caring for your body and doing fun stuff like baking stuff and cooking stuff. You know those people. They show up with the big pot of spaghetti and all of that, and you're so
Nice.
grateful to smell it. Can we just send a little bit of love to those people? She's got little guys too that join in sometimes in the fun. I just love it so much. So the prayer of protection for everyone. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is.
Awesome.
Have a wonderful week. And I will hopefully see you next week for an amazing, amazing
Yeah,
experience
awesome. Heart
with
Math.
HeartMath. And 1 o'clock, volunteer corps. Anybody who ever does any volunteering here or ever would like to volunteer and like to know more about what we're doing here, please come see us at
Stick
1
around.
so that we can answer questions and fill you in.
Awesome.
And have cookies and take home cookies.